We have 12 games in the next 19 nights, or 12 games in 19 nights, not the next 19 nights. But although they're all playoff teams that we're playing against, the most notable ones are at Golden State, at Phoenix, at Denver, at Milwaukee, and we're home against Boston, Dallas, and Miami, and we have 3 back-to-backs within that. So obviously to have a extremely backloaded schedules, murderer's row, as some were calling it. My question to you guys, how do the Sixers navigate seeding while also keeping guys fresh? Because Doc got a lot of flack last night where we played James Harden 47 minutes when he was clearly, he looked like he was hurt, and we played him 47 minutes. How do we try to compete with this whole top 3 seeding thing while trying to keep our guys fresh as we head into the playoffs?
Are we conceding the second and first seed?
No.
Then you got to win the game. It's like I don't know how you can say how we keep them fresh. You keep them fresh by the off days.
Yeah.
So unless we're conceding the first or second seed, we got to try to win the game. I think PJ not playing maybe added some of those minutes. So when he's back, I mean, you can probably cut some minutes. Because then Maxey and Melton can play more guard instead of you can play less 3 guard with him in there. That's one way that you can do it. For everyone to play. But if we're still trying to get to number 1 or number 2 at best seed, we're gonna have to play. And I think you push for it until it's kind of plays itself out. If you push forward, then 3 games left, we stuck in our seat, then you can back off. But if that's still the goal, you gotta push for it right now and then back off whenever that ends. I mean, we still, no matter what, have from the last game of the year to the first playoff game, you still have 5 or 6 days off.
Yeah, it's true.
So we're not in a play-in situation. So you will have time in between those games, and then once the playoffs start, there's no back-to-backs.
Yeah.
And especially that first round, I mean, you ended early. That's even more of a break.
Yep.
And it's sometimes the first round, because there's so many games, they stretch the series. So sometimes you're gonna have 3 days off, and so I just think you got to push until the seeding plays itself out. If it goes to the last game, it goes to the last game. So. Yeah, like I said, it just depends on whether you concede in that seed or those 2, top 2 seeds.
And even if you are set, let's say we go on like 3 or 4 game losing streak and the number 2 seed ain't happening and we concede to take the 3. Even then, do you want to go into the playoffs stumbling? You want to go in playing well, right? You want to go in with momentum.
Yeah, I mean, you want to go in with that, but health is more important than that. Even though that is important, like you go in playing well, because it's almost like not playing well, you can almost hit the reset button and know it's a new season, but health, you can't hit the reset button.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. Like, that's not going to go away because of the playoffs, but how you play can technically go away because it's a new season. It's 0-0. So it really doesn't matter what you did to a team during the regular season.
Yeah.
But you also got Cleveland not right behind you too. So
yeah, I think I read we'd have to go. I thought I read something. We have to go like 6-6 for them, or like anything worse than 6-6, and they can come back on us, and they have to win most of their games too. Something like that. But with our schedule, that's not that crazy. Like, I mean, that would be one of our worst stretches of the season, or not counting the beginning one. Actually, it'd be right along the lines of that, because we were 500. We'd win 1, lose 1, win 1, lose 1, win 2, lose 2.
I mean, that's why I was saying this Chicago game was big, but
I know
how going forward could make it even bigger.
Yeah. Well, I mean, now that at Chicago is like from here on out.
Saying, like, we go to Chicago and we lose, like we've lost a season series against Chicago.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. from here on out, it's pretty much.
And then Golden State is Golden State, like,
and it's at Golden State.
Yes, and they've shown they're different at home.
Yeah.
And they're a championship team, and they perform like champions in big moments, and that's what this game is going to be when Philly comes to town. It's going to be a big moment. We know what they do, and
it's end of season. Like, you're getting everyone's best. Like, this is like the closest.
And me and my family will be in the house too that night.
Oh yeah,
got some snow magic.
Yeah, there you go.
So, and then that's a back-to-back. Going to Phoenix.
Yep.
Another team fighting for position. I mean, the Clippers, I believe, are only a game or so behind Phoenix.
Yeah, man, it's tight. You're going to get everyone's best now.
And Denver, that's everyone's made that a big game. It's almost like it's the deciding factor of the MVP to let Marcus and his people talk. 2-game deciding the MVP, I guess. This whole year.
MVP tournament.
Yeah.
Well, they're saying that both Denver and Milwaukee games will be the deciders for the or the talking heads in the mainstream media world are saying that.
Yeah, because they don't watch all the other games. They just watch those games.
Yeah.
Which is fine.
They also don't want the last one to matter because that was a huge game for us to beat Milwaukee the way we did, for us to beat Denver the way we did. So it's like,
well, what I think was Stephen A. Someone was saying that, I think it was Stephen A. Stephen A. was saying that the Denver-Philadelphia game, the one in Denver, is more important for Jokic than Embiid because Embiid's already shown up for one of the games. Jokic has to have a response, and if he doesn't have a response, then we could be looking at Embiid.
Jokic didn't play bad.
Yeah.
The fourth quarter was.
Man, I said, but Joel was just better.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, he scored better, but he is a better scorer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Joel's going to get 30, but Joker has to have 20 and 20. Like, what are y'all judging? Like, what? That's why I don't get into
probably come up big in the clutch because if there's one thing that's Jokic has been getting dogged on, it's been his clutch minutes lately.
I got something. How about winning matters?
Yeah, it does.
So if Joel has that big game he had, right, and we lose, is it different? Do you think people view it different?
Probably. I would say, losing at his home court with Jokic, beating him, coming in Philly, beating him. Because I remember last year when we played in Philadelphia, Embiid had a good game against Denver, but Denver beat us, and that was one of the factors that they brought up in the discussion at the end of the season.
So, do you think if Joel had a bad game and we still won, people would be saying Joel MVP?
That's my point. I mean, I think the MVP talk was because he played the way he played and scored the way he scored, and
they won. Yes.
So winning matters. So if winning matters, they beat us, and they end up with a better record. But on top of that, Giannis ends up with the best, and Milwaukee ends up with the best record in the league.
Yeah.
I go back to what I said before. 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe even 5. This should be the closest MVP race we've seen 1 through 5.
Definitely top 3 is just like, man. They're gonna
top 3 have probably separated themselves from everybody else, but I don't think they necessarily separated themselves from everybody else. I think they just separated themselves from people talking about it because they've made it a Jokic and Embiid thing. And while all this is going along, Giannis is being Giannis.
Yeah,
Bucks are best record in the league. So it's like you make an argument for Joel, you make an argument for Jokic, and by doing that, you also making an argument for Giannis.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. So that's why I'm like, let the season finish. It may be different. Sixers may have the best record. Then to me, it's a no-brainer who would win.
Yeah.
But if they don't, it's going to be tight.
They one of the big NBA accounts posted Jokic's last like 6 games, and they're crazy stats.
Of course.
But I was like, wait a minute. And I looked it up. He's 2-4 in that stretch.
Yes.
You didn't post that.
No, that's what I'm saying. They post what's relevant to prove their point.
Yes. Yeah. And that
people do that for Joel too.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. But in Joel's defense, in his last 10 games stat that someone else posted, I think we're like 9-1. So
yeah,
he does have that going for him too. But
that's why the betting lines have changed during the win streak while they were having that 2-4 streak going on. That's why it's kind of fun.
And that's what I'm saying, because Milwaukee was 16-0 and Giannis never passed Joel and Joker.
Yeah,
never passed them, and they won 16 straight games.
Yeah,
he missed some of those too, though, right?
They won 16 straight games, man.
So I guess Drew should be like top 25 in MVP voting too. Then
no, I mean we won games when Joel didn't play.
Yeah,
during our streak, maybe one. Yeah,
I'm just saying, not even during the streak or not. I'm just saying this year.
In general, no, we won without our stars.
Milwaukee, yeah, it's different when you got a streak and you can win a game without a guy.
Mm.
They didn't go on the streak without a guy. That's different.
Yeah. I do want to ask you guys a question. So I guess over the last week, it's kind of more noticeable, but so the Cleveland game, I feel like Embiid's getting called for more fouls than he usually does, especially over the last week. We had the whole Cleveland game where, we reviewed it and he didn't get fouled out, but he came very close to getting fouled out of that game. Then last night got fouled out.
I thought that was a weak ass call.
That was a terrible call. But is that something to be concerned about? Embiid kind of getting more up in the fouls? I guess going five a game, especially as we get closer to the playoffs. I've never seen him foul this much before. It's never been a problem with him before.
Fouls can come from increased minutes that not necessarily that put you at risk of fouling, but increased minutes put you at risk of being more winded, and that's how fouls come. And I think more people are, because he's so dominant and has been so dominant, especially recently, offensively, you're seeing more teams involve him in action defensively, even though not necessarily at the rim, but just if they get him in the ISO, if they can put him in pick and roll, just to get him more active and get him moving. And he's a big guy, so sometimes it's hard for him to stop. And his contact is different than Max if Maxey hits you.
Yeah.
So it's involving him in the action, and you'll definitely see a lot of that in the playoffs. And I think now it's getting close to the playoffs, and that's why I've always said close to the playoffs. For some teams, the playoff has already started.
That's right.
And you look at the Chicago Bulls, who's playing for a spot. Their playoff has basically already started. Their play-in has already started. So teams are going to go to those techniques that's going to help them win that maybe before they probably stayed away from.
It's like an NFL season now.
Yeah.
Every game matters. It really is. Like this is 12 games left in this NFL season pretty much. I also think Joel's defensive presence and blocks have been up since this whole, he gets more fouls thing. He's been a lot more active defensively in the second half.
That'll do it.
A lot more active. So he gets hit for the one offensive foul game, and then he gets the other. I'll tell you what, though, he was stuck at 5 fouls for a long time.
It was.
Yeah.
I was a great overtime with him with 5 fouls, and then he got through the first, and then I think 1 or 2 minutes into the second one, he got it right. Yeah. On that of all things, too. It couldn't have been one of the ones where he skies over someone and falls on their back while blocking them. It was a little arm push.
Yeah. Doc got some flack online from Philadelphia beat writers that he should have challenged that. Even though he probably would have lost the challenge, he still should have challenged that. Is what they were saying.
It's tough on challenge because any kind of contact, they're not going to change it.
Yeah,
any form of contact.
Embiid really didn't argue it.
But it's any form. It's just the way it goes. Like any form of contact they're not going to change that. they're not going to say, well, he didn't hit him that much or he didn't hit him that hard, but it was contact.
Yeah, he did. Well, yeah. Levine sold it. Give him credit.
Yeah.